Hello, friend. Today I'm bringing you this video of how to extend on-prem Windows AD to an Azure AD by using an Azure AD Connect. And this is a feature that currently uh, Microsoft advertising for it, and it's working very good. And it will connect the on-prem server, which I do have here, and that will connect it to the Azure AD. And process, I will go ahead and do that in a minute. So first things, what I'm gonna do here, we're gonna open a web page here on the Azure server part of this, and gonna go to Google. Happen that I have an Azure or I have a Windows server, as you can see, set up, and I did explain and show you how to do that in the previous videos. And currently, we're gonna type here on the search engine Azure AD Connect download, which is this one here, and supposedly this is the current or the latest version, and gonna select the language is English. I'll go ahead and select that, and we're gonna open the download folder, and it did install, and this is the icon, and this is how it looks like. And I'm gonna go ahead and close the web browser, which I don't need right now. And from this point, I'm going to select Express settings, or just waiting. Sorry, we have to agree first to the terms, as you know, in licensing. And we're going to go and click on Continue, and it's going to use the Express settings here, and it's going to go ahead and try to do the. It's going to start doing, as you can see, the process and due diligence. It does detect my domain controller, as you can see here, which is that's very good. And I'm gonna go to, I'm not gonna select customize. I'm gonna go ahead and select next. This is the part that I've seen challenging for a lot of people, and for me, honestly, at the beginning. But after I made a lot of study and a lot of research and watched a lot of videos like this, I came up to the conclusion that this is the account has to end with dot on Microsoft.com. Now, as you know, in my portal and my account, I have an account is a Gmail based, and that's not gonna work. And what I've done in here, I did create a dedicated account beside the account that I have on this machine originally. As an admin on the computer, I did created a dedicated account, and it will end up as the display name is Tom, and it will end up with dot on Microsoft.com. And I gave him and assigned him a role as a global administrator role, which the global administrator role can do anything with the subscriptions or the tenants, and can can authorize the installation process. Still loading right now, and it's going to come up, and you will see it here as a Tom as a global administrator in here, which is this is very good. And the other things I have not provided to this, and maybe it will ask eventually is the see, look here, is the authentication method. This is going to come up most likely during the installation process, but I'm not sure yet, and we're going to find out in a minute. Um, I know that there is always with Microsoft using their products, there's authentication procedures that needs to be done in here. Let's find out. Let's go to the Azure AD Connect right now. So I'm gonna type the global admin account name that I have created, as I mentioned to you. Okay, 622. That's a typo here, and I'm gonna double check. Always is recommended to do a double check in here, and everything looks good. Now I'm gonna input my global administrator account Microsoft password. Okay. And we're gonna go ahead and click on next, and it's gonna start now communicating with my Azure account, as you can see, and it's gonna ask me to sign in right now. So here's what I've seen, some error message. It might come up, it might not. I want you to see that unless you have created MAF, we call it multi-factor authentication, and that sometimes takes time to replicate. So I'm going to try to log in as Tom here, and it might come up again. As I mentioned, might come up with the error because I have not set up a multi-factor authentication, which I may do eventually during this process, and I'll show you that we can hit two birds in one stone. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go with next. It's gonna ask me for my password. Okay, looks good so far. And so now it's asking, we have to reset the password again because of this is something that was done through an Azure portal, and the process right now, because of the authentication, we have to create a new password in this case. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and as you can see, um, there isn't much an option for me except for this, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. And so, I did the reset process, and let's see what it's gonna ask me now. And action required. It says ask me in here. Security definition. So it's gonna tell me that your account is gonna be you have 14 days. So I'm gonna tell them ask me later, and it's gonna start communicating right now, and it's going through the process now. We're gonna enter um, the. Let me just double check something here real quick. And so the next screen and the process is going to be the name of my domain, my current domain that I created, and that's domain that I have. It's which is Nabil Clouds. As you can see from this point on, this is what I have to enter, and it's gonna be. I'm gonna just show you Nabil Clouds Tom in this case, and the current password, and then backslash Tom, and then the password for this, it will be right now. I'm gonna enter, and it's gonna start checking. Starts transaction probably when the configuration is completed, and everything's so far so good. And I'm gonna let it run. It's gonna download and provision right now. And currently, what it's doing is trying to go communicate with the Azure pool in the Azure AD, which is this is what needs to be done. Everything so far went smooth. Um, this is the procedure again connecting the on-prem Azure Active Directory and to um, extending all this, extending the schemas and for entire AD, extending it to the from the on-prem AD to the Azure Active Directory. And this is the procedure. So far, this is the only procedure for Microsoft. And this is the only one so far it works. And it works very, very good. And I have tried it before, and it, it's very good process. So I'll just sit back right now. I might go ahead and put it on pause while it's doing the configurations, and I'll get back with you shortly. Okay, friends, as you can see, it's still configuring and installing and checking the health. All these are the procedures, and at the end will give me um, the good news that it's been extended and has been created. As you can see, it goes to a lot of scriptings, a lot of process here. This is huge. If somebody has, although this machine, this is a virtual machine, but in reality, if you have somewhere in the world, you have a physical server somewhere, you needed to extend it within all users, all groups to the Azure AD. This is the only procedure, guys. And as you can see, was successful. It's completing successfully. And right now, it says here configuration is completed, and there is no anything. I've seen this before. When there is an error message, it will give you an error message, but this is what you have. Says Active Directory cycle bin is not enabled for the forest, which is that's fine. Other than that, everything looks great in here. And just gonna check something. And as you can see, we're gonna go ahead and exit. And currently, synchronization services, that's what we call it. And you will see it now going back and forth. As you can see, exported last time. This is the timestamp in here. And there's also a procedure I would show you probably now in other videos that you can expedite or move. You can as a PowerShell steps that you use to have it synced more rapidly in here. And I will try to get that if possible. And friend, one more things to verify that remember when we did the reservations of the IP or we did for the networking. So the IP address, as you can see, still reserved for this let's say on-prem server, which is 10.0.0.4, which is that's where we did and we put it as a statics in the previous video. You guys recall that, right? Which is good. That's very good though. Okay, so after checking that, one more things beside um, the statics IP, need to check and we have to on the Azure part, we have to set the VNet basically on the DNS part to be pointed to this specific address in here. And as you can see here, just want to make sure on DNS server here, I'm gonna put it custom, and then I would suggest highly to have it same as this because that's what this server is going to be communicating and that's what the server is going to be communicating with, and that's after syncing that's what it needs to be pointed to. So we can input it if it's not there. 10 to 0 that 0 that 4, and as you can see, gateways within the virtual machine must be restarted to utilizing the server. So we can do the restart for that, but for now we have to basically again we double check it's 10.0.0.4, and here's 10.0, and then we're gonna go ahead and save it, and this is gonna be saved, which is this is very good. And let's go ahead and go back to the VM itself and check one more things. Okay, let's go ahead and to Active Directories and see if things been synced. It looks good. Azure AD Connect shows here it's been synced. That's very good. And last things it was less 1 hour ago, so we're gonna check the users, and as you can see, all the users have been replicated. The one, remember, when we have on the when we have here, okay, three you're in services, all those, as you can see, has been replicated in here, which is that's, and there's more in common. Remember the XYZ that I have created, and this is the admin, as you can see, Tom, and they are all replicated from the server to the account that we have here, which is that's very good. Again, as you can see in Azure AD Connect, it says enabled, and last thing is in 1 hour. And as I checked with you, all the users, and they are in here. I believe I created some. Not quietly sure, but no, that's not only I did not. I don't recall I created groups. That's why. But anything you created there, it will be replicated. As you can see, 43 user, and originally I did not have like about 6, 7 to be honest before doing the process here. Um, this is one of the features that we have, this Azure AD Connect. The next things, again, I'm going to show you how to do an expedite procedure to have it synced fast, and and for example, if somebody came up to you and your corporation says I have 3 users, needs to be synced immediately, they do need to be started now, or they have certain criteria that they need to be logged into the system within let's say 10 minutes. So I'll show you how to do a sync that it's going to go quick and faster to from on-prem Active Directory on Windows to the Azure AD. And just a second. So the process is called the how to force Azure AD Connect, and this is as you can see, I went in on Google and tapped Azure AD Sync PowerShell, and this is the first things it came up, which I can trust here from Microsoft for how to force Azure AD Connect, and again using PowerShell. So the procedure is straight forward, but what I need to do here, I have to probably go, again, this is a VM, and I have to do it on this part, which I have to do the search, obviously, in here, and pull up everything and put it on a notepad. And just give me a second here, please. Okay, friends, so we're gonna go now to the server itself, and I made a search. As you can see here, is to get the command in PowerShell, which is the Azure AD Sync PowerShell. This is gonna what it do is gonna expedite, is gonna make it faster, very fast to do that. And always, what I'm gonna do here is to basically have a notepad to put these commands in there. Is it's recommended to have you have it saved somewhere. First, this is the instructions, and first import the module, which is this is very important parts on the in Azure PowerShell or Azure in Azure the AD. You have to import module. Pretty much everything has a module in here. So basically, what we're gonna do first, get Azure AD Scheduler. See what is the last time. If you want, this is an optional to see when was the last time did scheduled for the sync. Um, Start AZ syncs policy type Delta. So Delta in here, it means that partial sync, which not everything, because we already did the sync, the initial, as you guys saw, and did uploaded everything. Now, as I mentioned, when your corporations HR or anyone comes to you and asks you there is 1 user, 2, 3 users, probably they need to be logged in immediately and have to be in the system, which is what they mean by system deck AD, Azure Active Directory, and has to be synced. So this is the procedure you have to do and have it carry on from the on-prem to the Azure Active Directory. So you will do a delta for initial, and we can perform that after that. Initials is only to it will perform when you have just migrated a large amount. You're planning to migrate a large amount of users or groups, and needs to be needs to be synced to the Azure Active Directory in here. So basically, what we're gonna do here, we're gonna go and do a search here and type PowerShell, and we're gonna run the PowerShell as an administrator, and we're gonna go with the first step, which is the importing the module, which I believe it did it successfully, because as you can see, PowerShell is notorious. If there is anything going on, a problem, it will get you an error message. And then we're gonna go with the scheduler and see when was the last time. And it says here allowed about 30 seconds, and the delta process, you see, as I mentioned, it's already run, and in here not even a minute, matter of fact. So everything else. So we can do the delta right now, and we're gonna copy this and enter. And it says success, as you can see. Now, when you open an Azure synchronization services, you will see it says in progress because we just initiated, guys. This is an outstanding, and this is very, very nice. If you have anything to be like somebody came up and rushed to be, have users or group or something to be added from the on-prem to the Azure AD. This is outstanding, matter of fact. This is the procedure for that. So, friend, this is what I have for now. And as you know, as you can see, I managed to extend the schema or extend the Azure on-prem Azure AD to the Azure portal AD by utilizing Azure AD Connect, and it was successful. If you are interested about other videos, please stay put because I have several videos come up about this topics. And as always, I appreciate your likes and subscribes. And I look forward to your comments. Thank you and have a great day. Thank you.